Hey guys, welcome to the Kidwell Show, episode number 3. And I hope you're excited because we got a lot to talk about on this episode, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. But I put out a post on Instagram a couple days ago about what topics you guys would like us to talk about. And we had some submissions, and I was going to read 2 of them. I have them on my phone right here. But Focus Studios asked us, what is the future vision for 14s? And if you didn't know, the Kidwell Show is ran out of 14s, our Instagram page. And honestly, the future vision for 14s is to continue to help. We've gotten several DMs and messages saying that we were helping them, and people were going through tough times, and just like our post helped and encouraged them. So ultimately, this is like really not in depth to start really, but it's to help people. It's to continue to help people. And I really hope that this Kidwell Show helps encourage also. And it kind of reaches everybody. You know, we have that sports segment, we have kind of the political, and then we also talk biblical stuff. And I have some fun stuff planned for the future. I just have to coordinate some people and see if they can come on the show and do some Q&As with some people. But honestly, we just want to help. And if you know my story, you know that I've been through a lot, and I just want to help people who are going through a lot themselves, you know? And well, so the future for 14s is hopefully, prayerfully, to help and encourage not only teens. I know it says for teens and it's designated for teens, but also just anybody. Because what we put on 14s, or I should say what I put on 14s, is for everyone. Why? Because it's scripture. And even Jesus said that his word would not return unto him void. So it's hard sometimes to continue doing 14s and just not sometimes having a lot of feedback, and it can kind of get burnt out. Me and Luke, when we were both running it at the beginning, we kind of got burnt out because we were putting so much effort into it. And like, I would stay up till like 2:00 working on the website, working on new blogs, working on new videos, ideas, yada, yada, yada. But we got a lot of feedback later on saying, hey, when are you coming back? You really helped me, and stuff like that. So the vision for 14s is hopefully just to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And I know I haven't been super active on 14s, mainly because I'm demoting all my time to this, just because there's a lot of editing and coordinating and stuff like that. But I enjoy doing this. I really do. But to answer your question, it's just to further help teens, really. And if it's via this or it's via putting out posts and stories, I'll do that. But ultimately, I want to help in any way I can. And this is an invitation to anyone watching this. If you're from the 14s community, or you're new to the 14s community, or you just somehow found me rambling on YouTube, you can DM me on Instagram, and I'll put my email in the description. If you need anyone to talk to, or just send an email and be like, hey man, I'm struggling. You have any Bible verses or something like that? Please do not hesitate. If you're in the 14s community, you know you can direct message me on the Instagram page. And like I said, I'll put my email in the description. But yes, it is to help and encourage teens in any way possible, whether that's email, via this, Instagram post, whatever the case may be. It is to help, ultimately. Next one is from Hadley Tomlin, and it says, verses that has spoken to you most recently. And I won't go into my story completely right now, but years ago, or it was about 2 years ago, I found out some news that was devastating. And I found a verse. It was like 2 days before or 2 days after this news hit me. I didn't know this verse previous to this, but it's Mark 5:36, and it says, as soon as Jesus heard the words which were spoken, he said unto the ruler of the synagogue, be not afraid, only believe. That's one verse that's always stuck with me. But ultimately, right in this present day, right now, is in the book of James, where it says, "If any man lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given to him." So that's been my kind of verse right now, just going into the next chapter of my life, and I know I need wisdom, as much wisdom as I can get. So those two verses, ultimately Mark 5:36, is kind of my life verse, but also, if any man lack wisdom, let him ask of God. Those two verses will probably stick with me for a very, very long time. But again, if you have any questions or topics you would like us to talk about, you can DM me on Instagram at 14s.ministries, or you can email me, and my email will be in the description. But without further ado, here's the episode, and hopefully you enjoy it. If you do, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and stuff like that. Hit the bell so you know when we upload new material. So anyway, guys, hopefully y'all enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next one.
The next step for the Atlanta Falcons. So they traded away Matt Ryan, who was their franchise quarterback since 2009,
Yes,
2008.
he's been there for a while.
And he won MVP 6 years ago now, 2016, and then he led them to the Super Bowl that same year. But their whole roster is kind of like dismantled. The only good player that they have really is AJ Terrell.
I don't
And
even know who that is.
I mean, there's a couple more. There's Deion Jones, the linebacker. There's Calvin Ridley, who's suspended the whole year. So, but AJ Terrell is like a better corner in the league. Um, he's just not very flashy. But yeah, they have a couple really good players, and really young players. So I think if they could just like right now, I think instead of getting their franchise quarterback this year, I think they need to start building their receivers and their offensive line. They already have Kyle Pitts. But you see what the Chiefs did with building their offensive line and just the team around the quarterback and then drafting their franchise quarterback. I think that's what the Falcons need to do to have like success.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if there's any decent offensive linemen out there right now in free agency. They probably got all taken up, but I think you need to sign some some offensive linemen, and then kind of what you said in the draft, get some good receivers, because right now their quarterback, I think he's QB number one, is Marcus Mariota. They just signed him, and the guy hasn't played since really 2019. I mean, last year he had 4 yards. The year before he played had 226 yards. He played like one game, or maybe like a couple snaps in the past 2 years. So definitely, probably not your franchise quarterback. Probably not. Kind of just filling in the gap right now, but definitely drafting your receivers, getting the offensive line, and surround your team around the quarterback. Because I mean, you can always scout and be like, oh, this guy will fit perfect with Kyle Pitts and fill in the blank, but this guy won't. So it's better than drafting a quarterback and then be like, oh, let's pick players now and get receivers now, because then he's just going to be trash. The quarterback's not going to have anybody to throw to, even though he's a really good quarterback. He's not going to have anyone there, and then people give up hope. Kind of what you said last show, where teams just give up on players, and we've seen that happen a lot. But the thing is, the problem is that they got their quarterback and then surrounded them. No, what you need to do is like get all your players before you get your quarterback and surround them. So yeah, definitely, I wouldn't. If I was a Falcons fan, I wouldn't be going out and buying me a Mariota jersey right now, because he's probably going to be shipped out next year or the year after, or just cut, one of the two, or they might keep him and have him as a backup or something. But definitely surround your future quarterback with good receivers, offensive line. Keep Kyle Pitts. Don't be stupid. Don't go shipping him off. He's probably going to be a great tight end, one really, really good tight end here in the next couple of years. So don't go ship him off. Don't do it. just surround your future quarterback. Just pretend he's there in the pocket right now, even though you see Marcus Mariota throwing 5 interceptions in the game. Just imagine that your quarterback's there and surround that quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the Chiefs when they had Alex Smith, he was like that bridge. I mean, he was good, but he was like that bridge quarterback between just garbage and Mahomes. So, and while he was the quarterback, they drafted Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelsey. They drafted a decent offensive line that has fallen apart in the past couple years, and they drafted a good, solid defense.
Yeah.
So I think that's what the Falcons need to do.
See, I mean, even though they didn't have a great offensive line, the Chiefs, right? You see what they did though is they drafted the quarterback that can run. So within this year here, if you pick up some offensive linemen or sign some or draft some, whatever you do, and you find out this year, wow, it is trash. It's complete trash. Our Mariota's getting killed. And you already know that some offensive linemen aren't going to be available in free agency or in the draft for next year. What are you going to do if you're going to draft your franchise quarterback in next year's draft? What are you going to do? You're going to draft a quarterback that can scramble, that can throw on the run. So I mean, that's what they did. So I mean, like, yeah, their offensive line's not been that bad. It's kind of fallen off. But you see what they did is they drafted a quarterback that can improvise. And
Yeah,
so
and
many factors here.
they also have they also had a receiver that could run like 80 yards in 3 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. So just surround him, put him in an environment to win, and he'll succeed. He'll definitely succeed.
Yeah. And then also there's a lot to do with the coach too.
Mm.
Because
I don't even know
Andy
who's there
Reid,
anymore.
Arthur Smith,
I
I think he was the Chargers defensive coordinator, and he actually wasn't that bad last year. I don't think. I could be wrong though, but I don't know. I mean, Marcus Mariota might be good, but I
don't really
kind
have
of
trust.
doubt it.
I think he's I think he's gonna be shipped out. I mean, at 28 years old, he'd be a decent backup, maybe.
Yeah, he'd probably be good. Yeah, he'd probably be a good backup, but
Just like last, maybe. I don't know.
yeah.
Without further ado, we have Josiah Leslie joining us once again
Good
on
morning.
the show of the Kidwell Show. Welcome.
Good morning, sir.
Well, we're just going to dive right into things right here. And a couple days ago, President Biden was traveling to Brussels, and it was this past Wednesday. And he said, I quote, there will be a new world order that must be led by the United States, which FoxNews.com reported. So, just jumping into it, like, what's your thoughts on this? It runs into biblical terms where there's going to be a one world order, but also it kind of sounds like a Star Wars movie. There's a new world order.
That's an interesting dynamic. Yeah, it definitely gets into the prophetical implications of it because we don't know who's going to bring us together, how it's going to happen, but we do know what will happen at one point. So Biden's comments, I don't think, if you're paying attention, you're not really too surprised by all of that. It goes back to the whole globalistic alliance thing that the older Bush started, and we're still paying the price for that, in my opinion. So this is going along with that is global alliance, global order, very prophetic.
That ties right in, and no doubt we live in the last days, and not just sounding like just saying that just to say it, but there's a lot of evidence of that,
Right.
and even with currency, they're trying to make it into online, all crypto and stuff like that. It kind of ties
this
into
whole
it.
cashless thing, this
Yeah,
coin
the
shortage.
crypto push is kind of looking at that, but continuing on Biden. Biden's policy is failing with just gas prices and energy prices.
Oh,
But
la-di-da.
he basically said America needs to live with the inflation, and it kind of hurts the consumer, it hurts the family, it hurts the business person because obviously inflation goes up and they lose money. So.
Yep.
What's your takes on this? And we kind of talked about it on the last show. where you said you would restore the pipeline, and that ultimately has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
gas prices, and now we're pulling oil and gas from other nations other than Russia,
I don't
and
even know who we're getting the oil and gas from.
I think it
I
was
have no idea
Venezuela.
anymore.
Last time I heard
Venezuela.
it was last time I heard.
Wow. Okay.
Which it doesn't make sense to me, at least. When we have it here, and I know it's the Green Deal and stuff like that, or whatever the heck it is, but when we have it here, why would we take it from Venezuela? That also
Yeah.
cost us money, but then also it causes inflation to go up. So, your takes?
So I don't think I'm surprised it's Venezuela. Honestly, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the last I heard it was.
Yeah, when he shut down the pipeline, a lot of what he did his first few days was all just to slander Trump, to smear his accomplishments. And I've heard some people say it's their way of supporting this whole electric car movement. So perhaps that's one reason why he did, was to kind of force that along a little bit, because we see it on TV now, we see it in news articles, electric cars are going to be here whether people want them to be or not. And this whole inflation thing could be his way of supporting the whole electric car movement.
Mm.
He's not saying it like that, but if you look at it, it might add up, because that's all we hear about now is electric this, electric that.
Yeah, I
And
didn't think about it that way. I never crossed my mind, but that's a good point.
that's what I've heard some people say. And I think if you look at it enough, it makes sense.
Hmm. That's an interesting take. And just springboarding into the next topic, because there's not a whole lot, unless you want to say some more on that.
I don't think
it's
anybody's
just stupid.
surprised.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's stupid. I don't think anybody's surprised, cut off the pipeline. Okay. I saw a tweet this morning, I forget who to put it out, but the average gas price for a gallon under Trump when he left office was $2.15. Now today it's $4.23.
Yeah,
I'm
and
not
even in California, it's like $7. So
Yeah. Los Angeles was the first to hit $6-7 a gallon.
that's
So
insane. And
anything
Biden saying,
anything
well, the American people just need to live with inflation. I just think is a heartless thing to do.
Yeah.
When the blue collar worker is working his tail off, and
Yep.
with inflation going up, it's bizarre. It really is.
Yep.
This is kind of a sports topic, but it's also kind of political. At least the media made it political.
I know where you're headed with this. Yeah.
2016, there was a quarterback, and probably anyone watching this already knows where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick hasn't played since around 2016. And a lot of that had to do, well, the media pushed it, is when he took a knee during the
Yep.
national
I
anthem,
remember.
which I do not support.
No.
But it wasn't the main reason why he was cut. But we'll get to that here in a second. He also, there was reports, I don't have it here with me, but I'm pretty sure he called the police officers pigs, and wore socks that said that, and stuff like that. But lo and behold, he has resurfaced in 2019. He actually had a couple tryouts for some teams, but
I
never
remember
landed a
that.
spot.
Yep.
And there was a lot of outrage about that. But a few teams have reached out to him here in the past couple of weeks. He had been putting out posts on Instagram and YouTube of him training and saying, hey, I'm better than ever. My arm's better. My feet are better. My game is better. And there's been several
Supposedly.
teams that are considerably looking at him. And one of those is the Seattle Seahawks, after trading Wilson to Denver Broncos, which I thought was a stupid trade. But
That was shocking. Yeah.
he's potentially back in the league. And so what I just said a little bit ago, it wasn't his necessarily media. Now, he took a lot of heat from that, and obviously San Francisco didn't want that heat. But at the end of the day, he wasn't a good quarterback. And the NFL, the NBA, NHL, MLB, they are all a business. Sports is a business. And though they took a lot of heat and they had a lot of people boycott the 49ers, it's about a business. And he didn't get them where they wanted to go. And so they got Jimmy G, which took them a little bit further than what Kaepernick did. But you can even see now Jimmy G most likely is out of San Francisco because
He's on his way out.
Yeah, he didn't get them to where they wanted to be. So, I mean, the media could paint a picture about Jimmy G that he did this or he did that. But at the end of the day, it's business, and they didn't get to where they wanted. They didn't get a ring with Colin. But the media is pushing that Colin needs a chance. Colin needs this or that. He's a good quarterback. He got rained on, and the media tore him down. But that, at the end of the day, yes, that had a little bit to do with it. But ultimately, it had to do with he wasn't a good quarterback. And that's how you make it in the league. You become a good quarterback. You don't have cashiers from Walmart playing quarterback for the New England Patriots. It just doesn't happen.
No.
So, your takes on this, and do you think he's going to land a spot in Seattle? I mean, with Seattle without a quarterback right now, I mean, they have Locke, but
Yeah, they have Locke, but Locke was never good in Denver last year anyway.
And you know why he was traded, or why Denver didn't keep him? Because he wasn't good.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make a stance that, oh, well, Denver hates white quarterbacks. But at the end of the day, it's not true. It's a business.
Yeah.
So your take on it, he's 34 years old. He had a couple workouts with a couple teams. He's been training at 5 a.m., 6 days a week. What's your takes?
I don't think he deserves to be back. You know, he ruined whatever shot he had. And you can claim you're good all you want to be, but to your point, you know, sports is a business. And whether we look at it this way or not, these people get paid to entertain. The cameras are there because, yes, you get paid to go win games, but you're being on television, you are getting paid to entertain. If you're not good at entertaining, how do you expect to keep a job today? You know, I know teams like the Texans still need a quarterback. If he goes there, I would literally laugh because that's a train wreck of an organization. And if he went there, he's a train wreck of a quarterback. So if he went there and just sucked out loud, I wouldn't feel sorry at all. I'm a former Texans fan, you know that. But if they got somebody like him, that would be a Houston Texans thing to do. You know, does he deserve to be in the league? No, I don't think so. He's like a virus that won't go away. Every 2 years, he tries to make himself relevant again, and it fails. You know, to your point about Garoppolo, I think his starting days might be over. He might be a high quality insurance backup. For a starter, no, I don't see it. Trey Lance is the future of that organization. Ownership has made it clear. He himself has made it clear through how he plays. San Francisco won't take him back. Seattle, I could see. Because what other quarterbacks are out there that are free agents? Because I don't think there's many people left. So if Seattle was desperate enough, they could. But again, there's Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
I'd support Baker Mayfield before I would Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, I like Baker, and I had him going to either the Falcons or the Colts. But obviously,
the Falcons.
They got filled with Matt Ryan going to the Colts.
Yeah, they got Mariota. Falcons got Mariota.
So I think it would be in the best interest for the Seahawks to get Baker Mayfield. I really do enjoy Baker Mayfield. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks.
Makes great commercials too. Great actor.
Yeah. But we'll see, I guess. I mean, free agency is hot right now. There's been a lot of stuff happening, a lot of players getting traded, players signing, players opting out of what they said they were going to sign, which I'm a little salty about that. But
I was talking to somebody last night, and she said this is the craziest NFL offseason we've ever had.
Yeah, it's been.
I think there's some measured truth to that.
It's been a hot mess for sure, but we'll see if Colin makes it back into the NFL. And there's also reports potentially that I think there's something like the XFL where there's going to be spring football. So if he doesn't make
here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, so if he doesn't make the NFL, he probably, my guess would say he would end up somewhere there, basically the G League of the NFL.
He'll try. Didn't he try to do that in the other NFL, in the other football league that was a couple of years ago?
I'm not sure about that.
I think I saw some rumors that he tried.
Potentially, maybe. I wouldn't put it past him. But like you said, he's a virus. He keeps popping up, but he does apparently have an ability to play if he's cracked up to what He says he is, but you know how that happens in NFL. People say, "Oh, I'm the
Yeah,
next Tom Brady," and they be the next Johnny Manziel. So,
yeah, agreed. Film workout is, yeah, film with him working out is one thing. Actual football field is another.
mhm. But we'll
But
see,
no,
and
we will.
we'll see if Biden completes his new world order, if inflation continues to skyrocket, and if Mr. Colin Kaepernick lands a team in the NFL and ruins that organization.
Oh, he can't ruin the Texans. They already did that to themselves. So if he goes there, he'll fit right in.
To just make it even
I
worse.
know that's harsh, but facts are facts.
That's it. And that's what we talk about here on The Kidwell Show. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, sir.
What's up, guys? You might be able to tell that I'm wearing something a little bit different. And it's because it's the day after recording had stopped for this episode, but I was at work and I'd got a very important notification from Fox News, and I was like, man, I have to put this on the show for this episode. And I tried to get Josiah on for this topic, but he wasn't able to. But this is important news. This is hot news. This came out about 2 hours ago, and it is Fox News reports Biden administration operated with missing data as CDC issued pandemic guidance. Wow, I was not expecting to see it. I kind of figured it, but was not expecting to see it. And they withheld an important missing data, really. And it was reported, we don't have federally collected data on what is happening inside schools. This is what Donna Harrison Akins, Deputy Chief of Staff at the Department of Education, said during a February 11th, 2021 briefing between CDC and department officials. And there's so much withheld. And it's crazy. It doesn't make sense to me how they can go and say, oh, this is this and this and this, but not have reliable data. And the thing is the CDC data that they base their core beliefs on was old data, decades of old data, and Fauci said that. And he warned Walensky of allegations of outdated research. He flagged it, but yet did nothing about it. He wrote in an email saying, hey, you probably have already seen this, but just in case, you should be aware of it. To be based on decades old research. That's a quote. To be based on decade old research. We will work to provide political cover for interest groups and districts that want to delay in-person schools. I'm not making this up. This is a quote. This is a quote. We will work to provide political cover for interest groups and districts that want to delay in-person school. Now, I'm not vouching for anti-vax. I'm not promoting getting vaxxed or wearing a mask or that. The great thing about America is you have a free choice. But this is a bunch of baloney here. And you can look this up. I am not I am not making this up. And some of their core beliefs, Fauci actually said, the core beliefs for the pandemic guidelines. He even said, the idea of having kids in school stay 6 feet apart, that's based on decades old research and is not backed by science. So this proves my point. I've offended some people about this, and that's okay. It wasn't my agenda. I was telling the truth. But the thing is this is not something that is, oh, it's a disease and we want to help everybody. No, it's an agenda. And if you haven't caught on by now that it's an agenda, you've truly been living under a rock. I haven't been keeping up with news that much. But this This is hilarious. It's sad, though. It's sad. It's really sad. Wow. And then another thing is, with this whole Ukraine thing, it's sad. It's really sad. And that we won't step up. I get that. Actually, I don't get that. It's sad. But as soon as the Ukraine situation happened, what happened to COVID? You don't hear anything about this is the first news I have heard about COVID in a couple weeks. That's sad. That's sad, man. Wow. They're withholding data from the public. New York Times reported last month that the agency has failed to release complete hospitalization data. And they even said the publication also said that the agency left out information on booster shots effectiveness in ages 18 to 49, which called the group the least likely to benefit from extra shots because the first 2 doses already left them well protected. This is a bunch of baloney. If you want to get a vaccination, get a vaccination. I support you. If you don't, good for you. Okay, enough of this mandating mask and mandating vaccination. It's none of your business. If I get asked when I'm out in public if I've been vaxxed, I have determined that I'm going to say, hey, it's none of your business, because that's private health information. No, but they lied. They withheld information saying that the effectiveness of 18 through 49 is least likely to benefit from extra shots. But you have to have it to get a job or what? No, it's an agenda. And if you like I said, if you haven't seen that yet, wow, you're surely living under a rock. And the teachers union influenced schools' reopening guidelines. It wasn't even based on CDC. It's what some teachers union said, oh, this is a good idea. It's a bunch of baloney. It is a bunch of baloney. And like I said, if you want to get vaccinated, go for it. If you don't, go for it. At the end of the day, we live in the United States of America, or at least I thought we did. Apparently we don't. Wow. That is fascinating. And you can find this on Fox News. Pretty much everything I've read is from Fox News right here. None of this is my opinion. I'm not making this up, folks. I'm not making this up. Wow. I even texted Josiah about this. He didn't know anything about this. But that's why I wanted to talk about it. Okay? I don't know who's going to watch this. I don't know your belief systems. Whatever. But this is wild. This is crazy, guys. This is crazy. Wow. And the thing is they're saying that COVID-19 is going to come back somehow. Number one, if the vaccination status, if you had 2 doses or whatever, you should only have to have 1. But whatever. If it's coming back, then we shouldn't have to worry about COVID if half of America has a vax. But no, they're preparing for another breakout of COVID. They're even, there's a new strain. Oh my goodness, there's a new strain. Did you hear about the new strain? It's going to be deadly. That goes against scientific. That's not scientific, folks. Scientific, it says that the strains get weaker as they come. But did you hear about the new strain? Did you hear about it? Oh, we're all going to die. My goodness. Come on, folks. If you want to get a vaccine, go for it. But do not start mandating it. You know how many people have lost their jobs because they didn't get the vax? Because they stood for what they believed was right. And some people, they believed getting a vax was right. I'm not demoting either side. I'm not. But you better not mandate it. There's so many people in the hospitals and doctors' offices and stuff that are great people that stood for their beliefs and stood for their values and were fired. I know of somebody that I work with now that worked in the health department that they had visited their brother or their nephew or something like that. Didn't know they had COVID at the time. Their nephew had COVID, or whoever they were related to had COVID. They didn't know it. They went to their house, and then they went to work. They found out that this person had COVID. She was pressured so much from her boss that she was going to have absolutely no hours and was not going to be able to sustain her monthly income at all. She was going to get like 4 hours a week. This person had a family. She ended up losing her job because she went to visit a family member that had COVID that she didn't know about. People have lost their jobs because they refused to wear a mask. People have lost their jobs because they refused to get a vaccine. They've lost their jobs for nothing because they withheld data. And that's on them. See, I truly believe that Biden wanted to have it where, when the election comes, if he reruns, God forbid, but if he reruns, saying, we got half of America vaccinated. We did. It was great. It was wonderful. That's awesome, isn't it? But it comes out that he withheld data and pretty much everything that was based on COVID-19 guidelines was false. Wow, folks, if that doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what's going to. But oh my word, they withheld it. What gets me is the 18 to 49, they're least likely to be affected. Wow. 2 core pillars of the CDC guidelines that schools should decide whether to open on community transportation and that students should strive to be spaced 6 feet apart are not supported by science. How about that, folks? How about that? That's crazy, isn't it? Wow. But Fauci, wow. Man, isn't our administration amazing? Isn't it? And this is free here. People say, well, God bless America. God bless America. Nah. God's not going to bless this America. Maybe he would have blessed this former America 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, maybe. But not this America. We're in deep trouble. We're in deep trouble. We can't even trust our own administration. And on top of that, we butcher babies for fun. And we say, God bless America. No, God's not going to bless this America. No. Till we get some stuff right in our country, it's not going to happen, folks. But don't stay ignorant. Some people are stupid. Some people are ignorant. They just don't know. Don't stay ignorant, folks. Just don't. I got away from politics, and I get like, I don't want to be around politics. It's too depressing. I'm not saying being in politics every single second, but stay up to date. Don't stay ignorant, because that's what gives them power. That's what gives what gives the people who want to destroy our nation, our home. That's what gives them power. Is us just staying ignorant and just saying, whatever the government says is probably true. No, don't stay ignorant, folks. Don't stay ignorant and just take hope. We only got like 2 more years of this nonsense, and hopefully we can get somebody with a brain or anything. I'd take a caterpillar at this point. Probably make some better decisions here, but if this Ukraine thing ever ends, I don't know if it will. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I guarantee I can almost guarantee. I can almost give 100% guarantee you, unless something happens, that once Ukraine situation gets taken down or whatever, that COVID-19 will be back. And even Fauci, a couple days ago, I saw an article saying, "Oh, we need to bring the mask back potentially because COVID's about to take off again because of this scary strain that's upon us." Folks, like I said, that is not supported by science. Yeah, the strains from ahead, and then you have this multiple strains, it gets weaker and weaker and weaker. Even Omicron, like, come on, folks. It was a cold. Okay. Next thing, then 2 strains under that, you're gonna cough once, and that's all you're gonna have. But people are gonna freak out. Where's your mask? Where's your vaccination card? That's a bunch of baloney. Come on, folks. It's time to move on and time to get back to life.